Good afternoon, CFM. This is Coach Matt on a Monday of testing week. There is not too much for me to demonstrate today. I will go through the warm-up and talk through the two movements we're doing, but there is a lot to discuss in terms of the approach that you take to this week. And I said it last week, but there's two main categories of our members. There's ones that are just show up, tell me what to do, make me sweat. I love it, I'm having fun, and don't worry, don't bother me with the details, right? And that is totally fine. If you're enjoying it, you're gonna get results, you're gonna have a good time, and it's a completely legitimate way to take on your fitness journey, right? It's just enjoying the process. Then there's the other side. This is kind of where I fall into of like, I want to know the data. I want to understand the training principles. I want to understand why we're doing this like banded jumping exercise or those like silly dance moves that I like to do to work on balance and agility. And the point is that if I track my progress a little bit tighter and I keep track of how much I lifted in all the different workouts, that I can get a little bit better results because I'm more targeted towards the sweet spot of where the physiological stress is going to yield the biggest adaptation to me, okay? So either one of these is fine, and I would say like no matter what you, where you fall into that spectrum of just show up, have a good time, and continue to do the lifts on testing week just the same way that you did every other day of the week. But some people are going to track it a little bit more tightly, and for those, make sure that you are, or I would recommend that you follow the flow of the week. And I have it structured from the beginning to the end to give you the best possible result from it, as well as a handful of other like moderate intensity conditioning workouts so that it's not just a week of all lifting, okay? So with that said, we'll go into this week with flexibility in mind and knowing that like not everybody's gonna make it every single day of the week. In fact, very few people will, right? So if you are here on a day and it does not have the texting block that you are specifically interested in, I want you to raise your hand, talk to the coach and say like, I would like to go do my blank back in the back, whether it's a back squat, a bench press, a clean, pull-ups, etc. And then there's some open testing blocks near the end. The only one I don't recommend you doing is deadlift, right? Deadlift is structured to be 3 weeks from now, and we will test it separately because it has such a significant neurologic impact on the body and the recovery takes longer. It will interfere with everything else you do if you do a 1 rep max on the deadlift on day 1 of testing week, okay? So that's why we separate it off. All right, so let's begin. Warm up today is very simple, 3 rounds through, 200-meter jog each time, and then come back for some air squats, squatting down, standing up, just stretching out the hips. We're not gonna do a squat clean in the max out today unless you want to do a squat clean, and I'll talk about that more in just a little bit. And then a warm up bench press, so get your bench out, have it set up, and then when we finish doing the warm-ups, I would push the bench back in here where it is underneath the rig so that you can have out front of the rack to do your cleans on. And then we're gonna do a little barbell complex. So 5 reps of the clean pull. So that is just our jump shrug with straight arms. A lot of times when I see people do this, I'll see them allow their elbows to bend a little bit at the top, and that kind of disconnects the shoulder from the wrist, right? And your wrist is where the bar is, and you want to have a tight connection there so that you can feel that momentum being transferred from your hips through the core, through the arms, and onto the bar, all right? So make sure those elbows stay straight. Next, we're gonna pick that bar up and do 4 reps of a front squat. Again, stretching out the hips, not necessarily to prepare for a squat clean unless you want to. Last one is a tall clean. So start with that bar somewhere about belly button to solar plexus, right? Elbows up nice and high and outside. I'm up on my toes. We call this the scarecrow position. We're gonna pull to initiate this movement, pulling my body down, practicing dropping underneath the bar, catching in that balanced stance, somewhere around a power position. You can catch in the squat position if you'd like to, obviously. And then that will lead you into a better squat clean when you get there, right? So that's our barbell complex, and that is our first movement of the day for the max outs, right? So clean, any way you slice it, we're starting from the ground and we're jumping and catching, standing tall with the elbows forward of the bar before we let the bar come down, all right? That's our clean. When we finish our clean, then we'll move on to bench press. Neat thing for a balanced athlete would be a very, very similar 1 rep max clean and a 1 rep max bench press. Those two weights should be just about the same for someone who has been training full spectrum strength and conditioning. So obviously if all you do is bench press, your clean's not gonna be anywhere near that, right? But it is kind of the mark of a well-developed athlete that their bench and their clean are within like 5% of each other. So just think about that as a goal or a metric, and maybe like, my bench press is way behind my clean, I need to work on upper body pressing strength. All right, so I have 3 slots listed for your max attempts. Normally my strategy for going into testing week would be the first attempt is something that's beneath my max, but that I'm relatively confident and it's within a couple percentage. The second one is where I kind of take a risk. I listen to what my body is saying on that first one, and I try to think about, can I beat my max by just a few pounds or a percent or two? And then the third one is completely based on the second one. So maybe I missed the second rep, right? And then I make a choice. Do I think I could get it if I just braced a little different, or if I approach my setup a little bit different and I try it again? Or do I say like, you know what, that was too much, it wasn't even close, I'm gonna go back down and get something clean for my third attempt? And then there's always kind of the bonus reps, right? So don't feel like, if you got time and you have, you feel like I've drastically underestimated how much my strength has improved and I'm gonna go for a fourth one, go for a fourth one, right? We're very flexible on testing week, and we wanna give you the physical training that you really desire for today, right? Which means if you need more reps at bench press, take more reps at bench press. If you're done after 3, be done after 3, right? And then move on, right? And as always, for our newer members, you may not have a feel for where your top end is, and this is one where we feel like it's very important for you to tell the coach before you do something you have never done before, right? So if you're getting underneath a bar, or if you're gonna step up to a clean and it is above anything you've ever done, you should be like saying like, hey, Coach Matt or Coach Brittany or Coach Audrey or Coach Wendy, Coach Craig or Coach Brian, whoever it is, say, can you watch me? I'm about to do this. I've never done it before, right? And then obviously for bench press, we do recommend spotters. Actually, we require spotters when you go up to at your 1 rep max bench press. Do not be the person trying to do a 1 rep max in the corner by yourself and then squeak out a help when you are stuck underneath the bar, okay? All right, I think that covers it for testing week and for this workout. Hope you guys have a great one. Good luck on your lifts, and I'll see you tomorrow.